Alright, so picture this. The Golden State Warriors front office has been under the microscope all off season, and the big question swirling around the fan base right now is pretty simple but loaded. What grade do they deserve? Are we talking about an A for sticking to their guns and refusing to trade away Jonathan Kuminga just for the sake of making a move? Or is it an F because the Kuminga situation still feels unresolved, hanging over the team like an unanswered text message? What makes this conversation even more intriguing is that we now have fresh data that breaks down every NBA team's front office performance and how those decisions have actually translated into results on the court. It's basically a scoreboard for decision making, showing whether a franchise is winning in the short term, setting themselves up for the long haul, or in some cases, doing neither. Now, for years, Bob Myers was the face of the Warriors' front office magic, the architect who built championship rosters in the 2010s. Since Mike Dunleavy Jr. took over, it's been a mixed bag. Sure, there have been moves with upside. Think of that big swing to bring in Jimmy Butler, but the translation from paper to the hardwood hasn't been seamless. When Butler arrived, the team took off early, starting 12-3, but then they hit a plateau, going 21-21 the rest of the way. They finished the season strong, but of course Steph Curry's injury derailed any real title shot. Honestly, even at full health, the roster might not have been enough to get past a loaded Minnesota Timberwolves squad or an OKC team that's been quietly building a powerhouse. And that brings us to the data. This isn't just about vibes or gut feelings. There's an actual chart mapping every team's front office score against their comprehensive score. In plain English, that means how effectively a team is turning strategic flexibility and smart management into wins on the floor. Some franchises are masters of turning front office wins into actual basketball success. Others look great on paper, but stumble when the ball tips off. Let's talk examples. The Oklahoma City Thunder are right at the top of this list, which is exactly what you'd expect. They've got a front office score of 40 and a comprehensive score of 500. Translation, they've nailed the big moves. Draft picks, trades, development, all on point. They grabbed Alex Caruso. They landed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the Paul George trade, and they've rebuilt beautifully after the Harden-Durant-Westbrook. They were patient. They tanked when it made sense, and now they're stacked for both the present and future. Then there are teams like the Brooklyn Nets and the Charlotte Hornets. Both have a front office score of 0, yet their comprehensive score is sitting at 500. Sounds weird, right? What that really means is they're in the tear down and rebuild stage. They're not trying to win big right now. They're playing the long game, aiming for a complete reset. It's basketball purgatory. You're not terrible enough to be a laughingstock, but you're not good enough to scare anyone. Now, back to Golden State. Their score, minus 7.04. That lands them in what the chart calls the sacrificing optimality zone, which is basically the opposite of the patient, calculated build you see in places like OKC or San Antonio. The Warriors situation raises the tricky question. Do you flip a young, high-upside piece like Kuminga for a solid but non-elite player? Think Malik Monk or Josh Giddey. Or do you hold on to that asset and wait for a bigger prize? Under the current CBA, the cost of getting it wrong is massive. Overspend! And you end up in tax bill hell, stuck in the dreaded middle ground with no path to either a title or a reset. The chart also throws light on some other franchises that have gambled heavily on the present. The Bucks and Suns, for instance, shoved their chips in the middle of the table for win-now moves, and so far, it hasn't paid off the way they hoped. The Timberwolves did the same, betting on Rudy Gobert and other veterans to push them over the top. Dallas got lucky with Cooper Flagg after trading Luka, a move that screamed desperation for the now, but that was more happy accident than genius foresight. On the flip side, look at the Spurs. They've been methodical, building around Victor Wembanyama and even making smart moves like adding De'Aaron Fox. Toronto has been quietly piecing things together since their championship, never fully bottoming out, but also never going full throttle into contention. Detroit and OKC are at the top of the flexibility charts. And the Wizards, well, they've been trying to rebuild for what feels like a lifetime, but at least they're committed to the process now. When it comes to the Warriors, the picture painted by this data isn't flattering. Yes, they've still got Draymond, Steph, and now Butler plus a few picks in their pocket, but the combination hasn't translated to sustained success. The big aggressive Suns experiment, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, shows what happens when you push all in and it backfires. You lose flexibility, your draft cupboard is bare, and your margin for error disappears. Golden State isn't quite in that deeper hole, but they're leaning in that direction. Then there's the path from optionality to dynasty chart, which plots a non-linear road to winning. It compares projected win totals to actual results. Once again, OKC shines here, exceeding expectations and bringing home a title. The Nets, by contrast, were supposed to win more than 20 games but couldn't even sniff that. The Warriors, meanwhile, were expected to win around 42 last season and ended up closer to 49. That's a nice overperformance, but it's still far from championship contention. You're above water, but you're not sailing into the finals. Other teams tell similar stories. The Bucks and Suns were projected for more wins but fell short, landing in negative territory. The Nuggets, Cavs, and Knicks are facing financial crunches with big contracts coming due, meaning they'll soon have to decide between paying their stars or reshuffling like Boston did this summer. And when you flip the perspective to look at flexibility plus projected wins, the same patterns emerge. The Nets were aiming for around 21 wins and hit that mark exactly because, again, they weren't chasing wins. They were chasing ping pong balls. Golden State, on the other hand, was projected for 46 and ended up slightly better than that, but nowhere near elite territory. Meanwhile, teams like Denver, Milwaukee, and Phoenix had sky-high expectations and didn't even come close to hitting them. What makes this all so fascinating is that it puts hard numbers to what fans have been arguing about all summer. Instead of vague complaints about the front office not doing enough, you can actually see the patterns. Who's making smart moves, who's cashing in their chips too early, and who's stuck in that dangerous middle ground. And for the Warriors, the stats suggest a team caught between honoring the core that brought them multiple titles and acknowledging the reality that this formula might not work forever. It's a delicate balance, and so far, the data says OKC is the gold standard, sitting in that A++ category. Golden State, they're not failing, but they're also not excelling. They're holding the line, making calculated sacrifices for the present, but the window for those sacrifices to pay off is closing fast. The numbers don't lie, and they paint a picture of a franchise walking a tightrope, one that could lead back to glory or straight into mediocrity. If you really want to understand where the Warriors stand, you have to look deeper than just wins and losses or the headline trades. This is about the philosophy that drives every decision, the willingness to either let go of the past or double down on it, and how that plays out in a league where the margin for error is razor thin. Golden State has been living in a unique space for years now. They're not rebuilding, they're not tanking, but they're also not the dominant powerhouse they once were. They're somewhere in between, leaning heavily on a core that has already given them everything, while trying to squeeze just a little more magic out of those legs before time runs out. What the numbers show is that they've been operating with a high degree of loyalty and a clear focus on the short term, but that's not always a recipe for long-term sustainability. When you look at franchises like the Thunder, you see the exact opposite approach, stripping things down, making the tough calls early, and positioning themselves for years of success. The Warriors minus 7.04 front office. Score tells you they've been sacrificing some of that future optionality. That doesn't mean they've been reckless, but it does mean they've been willing to take on risk now for the chance at one more run. Jonathan Kuminga is at the heart of this conversation because he represents the fork in the road. On one hand, you've got a young, athletic, high-upside forward who can be a foundational piece if he continues to develop. On the other hand, you have a team built around veterans like Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and now Jimmy Butler, which means the window to win is narrow. Trade Kuminga for a player who helps you win right now, and you're all in on the present. Hold on to him, and you're betting that you can bridge the gap between eras without bottoming out. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. A new chapter in the saga of the Golden State Warriors seems to be unfolding, with whispers circulating around the basketball community suggesting a major acquisition that could reshape the NBA landscape. According to emerging rumors, Al Horford, the seasoned veteran known for his versatility and leadership, has reportedly reached an agreement to join the Warriors. This development, if confirmed, would mark a significant moment in the franchise's storied history, potentially heralding a fresh era of dominance. Horford, who has been a reliable force on both ends of the floor throughout his career, is said to have expressed his confidence in the team's prospects, boldly declaring, "The sixth championship is coming now." Such a statement hints at a renewed ambition within the Warriors organization, eager to recapture the glory of their recent dynastic run. This possible acquisition stirs excitement and speculation among fans and analysts alike, as the Warriors look to blend their existing talent with Horford's experience and basketball IQ. While official confirmation is still pending, the buzz alone has injected new energy into conversations about an upcoming season. The prospect of Horford donning the Warriors jersey raises questions about how this could alter team dynamics, strategy, and the balance of power in the NBA. Could this be the catalyst that propels Golden State back to the pinnacle of the sport? The implications of Al Horford joining the Warriors extend far beyond the court, promising to impact the team's chemistry and leadership structure profoundly. Horford, known for his calm demeanor and high basketball IQ, might provide the Warriors with a stabilizing presence, especially during high-pressure playoff moments. The rumored signing aligns with the franchise's historical tendency to blend seasoned veterans with their core of superstar talent, creating a potent mix of experience and athleticism. Analysts speculate that Horford's ability to stretch the floor, defend multiple positions, and facilitate ball movement could mesh well with the Warriors' fast-paced and three-point heavy offense. Moreover, his championship pedigree might rekindle the competitive fire within the locker room, motivating younger players to elevate their games. Fans are already buzzing about the potential lineup changes and how Steve Kerr, the team's head coach, might leverage Horford's unique skill set. The veteran's presence could alleviate some of the defensive burdens from key players like Draymond Green while adding a reliable option in crunch time. This speculative move also sends a message to the league that the Warriors remain committed to maintaining their status as title contenders. If the rumors hold true, the Warriors front office may have executed a masterstroke in assembling a roster primed for another championship run. Amidst the swirling rumors, the narrative of a renewed dynasty takes shape, inviting comparisons to the Warriors' golden years when they dominated the NBA landscape. Horford's rumored signing seems to symbolize a strategic recalibration designed to address the team's previous shortcomings and maximize their championship window. Observers suggest that the Warriors are keenly aware that time is a critical factor for their core players, and integrating a versatile veteran like Horford could be the missing piece for sustained success. His reputed leadership qualities off the court and ability to mentor younger teammates could prove invaluable in maintaining the team's culture of excellence. The declaration attributed to Horford, "The sixth championship is coming now," reverberates as a bold statement of intent, signaling a collective hunger for more titles and a refusal to rest on past achievements. As the Warriors navigate the evolving landscape of the NBA, where super teams rise and fall, this potential signing represents a calculated gamble on experience and chemistry. The prospect of seeing a rejuvenated Warriors squad, blending established stars with a high-impact veteran, is sparking widespread speculation about their chances of reclaiming their throne at the top of the league. Could this be the dawn of a new dynasty chapter led by Horford's steady hand and championship mindset? The broader NBA community is abuzz with conjecture about how this rumored addition might shift competitive dynamics across the league. Horford's move to the Warriors, if true, could disrupt the existing balance of power, forcing rival teams to reassess their strategies and roster compositions. The ripple effects of such a signing might extend to free agency decisions, trade talks, and even coaching tactics league-wide. Basketball pundits are debating the potential matchups this new Warriors lineup would face, particularly in the Western Conference, where competition is fierce and every advantage counts. Questions abound regarding how Horford's presence will affect Golden State's spacing, pick-and-roll efficiency, and defensive versatility. Some speculate that this move could revive the Warriors' identity as an unstoppable offensive juggernaut while simultaneously shoring up their interior defense. Moreover, the narrative surrounding the Warriors' quest for a sixth title, with Horford as a central figure, is captivating fans eager for a new chapter filled with drama and triumph. The whispered talks of a renewed dynasty are not merely about assembling talent, but about reigniting a winning culture. This possible signing adds an intriguing layer of complexity to an already compelling NBA season ahead, promising storylines that could define the sports landscape for years to come. Ultimately, the rumored acquisition of Al Horford by the Golden State Warriors ignites hope and speculation about what lies ahead for one of the NBA's most iconic franchises. Should these whispers materialize into an official announcement, it would signal a strategic and ambitious push to secure another championship, reinforcing the Warriors' commitment to excellence. Horford's blend of experience, leadership, and skill could be the critical ingredient needed to bridge the gap between contention and victory. The declaration that the sixth championship is coming now encapsulates a collective belief within the team, fueled by determination and a renewed sense of purpose. As fans and analysts continue to dissect the implications of this potential move, the excitement surrounding the Warriors' future grows exponentially. Whether this is the beginning of a fresh dynasty or simply a bold gamble, the narrative crafted by these rumors invites everyone to watch closely as the saga unfolds. The Golden State Warriors, with Al Horford's possible arrival, seem poised on the brink of rewriting history, aiming to etch their name once again among the NBA's elite. This unfolding story, charged with anticipation and possibility, promises to captivate the basketball world in the months ahead. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.